Okay, so yeah, as I mentioned, a couple of distractors, but other than that, it's I would put it in the medium category. So distractor 1, the mass of the ball, not relevant. The angle, not relevant. Not for this problem, at least. So the period of the pendulum is only a function of the length and g being a constant close to the surface of the Earth. The 15 over 12 and 12 over 15, that's where people tend to make mistakes on this particular question. Whether you can determine the period or the frequency. Actually, so I should, maybe I'll do both. So if I go down the period route, 2 pi L over G, I want to square everything to basically, I want to isolate the length, so that would become T squared equals 4 pi squared L over G. So the length should be equal to T squared times G over 4 pi squared. And the frequency would be, of course, the inverse of this, if you went the long way around though, root G over L. Then if you end up squaring everything here, F squared equal to 1 over 4 pi squared times G over L. Then L, of course, will be equal to G over 4 pi squared times F squared. Right? Yep. So you could do either. I tend to focus on period more often than frequency for some reason. So the key thing in a sense is, if you want to figure out what do I do with the 15 and the 12, is to figure out units. So if I want the period, I want the unit to be in seconds. So I want to divide the 12 by the 15. I want seconds per oscillation. So the period, in a sense, is seconds per cycle. So the period in this case is 12 seconds over 15 oscillations, so 12 cycles. So what's that? 4/5 of a second. The length works out to be 0.16, right? 0.16. So if you do this, plug this back in here, G, you get 0.16 meters. I can't remember what the other. I think one of the distractors is if you mix the periods and frequencies. So the frequencies is basically cycles per second, so that should be the 15 over the 12. The frequency should be 15 cycles per 12 seconds. So that's 5/4 hertz. And then you can plug back in. But 0.16 should be the right answer.
For frequency, I put 12 over 15.
That's the period. Yeah, so the 12 seconds, the unit's going to be seconds per cycle, and that by definition is the period.
We still put 9.8 for gravity.
Yes.
Is there an occasion that we don't use 9.8?
No.
We
always use 9.8. Questions? Time. Okay, I'm going to, given the time, I'm just going to let the recorder keep moving. This was the only question I had written originally that I did last quarter. So I wrote 7 and 8 kind of off the cuff. So I'll just walk through them with you. If that's okay, just given the time of the day.